We've got our sleepers, breakouts, and bust here with the Dynasty Mafia podcast. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Antonio Denisi. With me, as always, Eric Denisi and Keenan Jimijic. We're also going to let you know which one of us are really high on DeAndre Swift and who may not be so high. What to do with Joe Mixon, what to do with Michael Pittman Jr., and, who are some FOMO players that we just need to have on our team so we're not missing what's going to happen this season. What's going on tonight, fellas? Happy Thursday. We got 2 weeks until football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got college football on right now, too, which is nice.
Yeah, Keenan's diving in over there.
Nice to have fans in the stands. But I got a question for Antonio. Antonio, how does it feel to be the Bishop Sycamore of fantasy football?
I think that's probably an honor I'm going to be.
Big words right there. The night before our draft, big words.
Two nights.
Is that a good thing? I'm going to take that as a good thing. I'm going to say I'm happy to be the Bishop Sycamore.
I actually had a draft this evening with Travis Sipes, and I actually named my team Bishop Sycamore. There he is. I knew he was listening. I know him like the back of my hand.
Welcome. Yeah, that's that fake school, right? That was on ESPN.
Yeah.
I remember. I've been seeing a lot about that, but I never.
That
really...
story, I can't get enough of it. I'm like glued. I'm like Twitter. My Twitter search is all about Bishop Sycamore. I'm just looking to see who these players are and how old they are. Just some of the stories that are coming out are insane. The one story, they all lived in one house. They all slept on the floor. They would go to Walmart and steal food because they didn't have any money. It's so bizarre. I can't wait till ESPN 30 for 30 comes out.
It's going to be like the longest yard version of Bishop Sycamore.
That's literally what it is.
Just get Mark Wahlberg can play the quarterback. Yeah. There you go. We'll get something good in there. No, I got to read up on that. But no, I will take that honor. I will be gladly bestowed that.
I was just kidding.
It's okay, man. I'm gonna whoop you this year. I'm not finishing last. We got our draft tomorrow night, like you said.
What draft?
Yeah, it's like Manti Te'o. There we
what
go.
Draft tomorrow night? What draft tomorrow night?
The one with you and Wayne are in.
Wayne is running that one. He's general manager Wayne. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, there can't be too many chefs in the kitchen. That's why I let him take the lead on this one this year. So when we finish 1-12, I'll take over next year and go 5-9 or whatever.
Co-managing teams is fun. You're like co-parenting, but you're divorced.
It's tough.
Separated.
It's tough with Wayne. I love Wayne to death, but man, sometimes he plays fantasy football with his heart, and like I said, I love Wayne, but we disagree a lot. So I told him, like, you got the lead on this one, buddy.
Sometimes I don't mind those decisions too much.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's get into a little bit of some news and notes. There's not too much going on, like we said. We got 2 weeks till football. I kind of like this little in between week off that we got without that fourth preseason game. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of a little excited for this little lull before we really dive into it for a few weeks. So with that being said, let's talk about, like I said, some news and notes. We have Irv Smith, unfortunately, who I decided to draft on Monday, coming out. Was it torn meniscus? So he's going to be out.
What happened? What happened with that? They said it was going to be 5 weeks, and then all of a sudden it's out for the year.
Yeah, I said that they said it was a knee injury, but apparently it had gotten worse than what they originally anticipated. So unfortunately, he's going to be out. They did just trade for Chris Herndon over from the New York Jets.
That's your boy.
I was really big into Chris Herndon. I was when a couple of years ago when Darnold first came out. I really liked the connection. He's a big guy. But I think with that being said, though, he might be a nice little sleeper just to keep your eye on, because they throw the ball a lot in the red zone of the tight end. That was where Irv Smith made his money. So it's not something that I could, I guess, unsee that Chris Herndon could have 6 or 7 touchdowns. Very likely for me. What do you guys think about Chris Herndon?
I don't care.
It's fair.
Yeah.
You know what? Someone's got to catch the ball, though. You got to remember, like, someone's got to get that. It's Justin Jefferson, it's Adam Thielen, it's Delvin Cook, and then someone else has to get it. I know they don't throw the ball a lot, but their tight ends are getting over 100 targets for the last couple of years. It is Kirk Cousins. He likes his tight end, so someone to monitor. Mac Jones, Cam Newton was cut by New England Patriots. A little bit of some old news now. He's looking for a new home, but Mac Jones is going to be the starter for New England before week 1.
That's why I traded Tua. I knew that.
Honestly, I'm not surprised.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Oh, that was bad.
It's a good thing for our Bills.
Is it though? I don't know. That offense. I get he was playing backups most of the time, but that offense, it ran a lot smoother to me than Cam Newton did. Obviously, it was a lot more fast paced.
Preseason
play. Oh, like I said, I'm not surprised. We all said before, he's one of the more pro-ready quarterbacks coming out of this class, so it's not surprising in this offense that he's taken over, especially with Cam Newton's arm being what it is. It's, he can't do much what he used to be able to do, and Mac's the new face of that franchise, so why not let him come in and take over if he's already doing better than Cam is? But I'm just saying for this year, it's definitely good for our Bills. But I don't see him as a long-term threat anyways for our division. I think he's good. He could do a lot of great things under Belichick, but yeah, we'll see.
I think we're seeing a ceiling. He's good because he's the best rookie, pro-ready rookie right now. But I think we're seeing a ceiling. He's not gonna lead the Patriots to any dynasty that Brady, nowhere near it.
What about in fantasy? Where's his ceiling in fantasy? Where would you put him right now? Derek Carr? No, just for the season. Derek Carr or Mac Jones?
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
It's not even close. Not even close.
What'd you say?
Kirk Cousins.
I'd take Cousins. Easily take Cousins.
I'd flip a coin.
I don't know.
I would take Kirk Cousins over Derek Carr.
I just don't know what this offense is going to be. There's too many moving parts to it. They don't have one starter on their offense from 2 years ago. 2 years ago. The only two players that are left on that team from 2 years ago, I think that was a Super Bowl winning team with Brady, is their running back, Damian Harris and N'Keal Harry.
Well, and N'Keal Harry won't be there for long. I don't know. Well, you speaking of Damian Harris, I'm excited for him, though. They are putting their faith in him. They're putting their faith in Jacoby Myers. He was a preseason darling, 2020. But I'm excited to see what Jacoby Myers can do. He had over 14 yards a catch. He's going to be a big target. They've obviously got Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry's injured for a bit, but Jonnu Smith's going to be able to do a lot of good things over the middle of the field. I don't know. They surrounded Mac Jones with some pieces, that's for sure. So let's talk a little bit as we slide along, because we got some players come back from practice. Brandon Ayuk, unfortunately, is not, but Kenny Galladay, who we're going to talk about a little later, he came back from practice with his hamstring. Cowboys had CeeDee Lamb come back from the COVID injury list. Giovanni Bernard is dealing with an injury, though. So Brandon Ayuk, guys, his hamstring, I want to talk about him quick because I'm a big fan of Brandon Ayuk this season, but hamstrings do linger, especially with players big on yards after catch. Are you worried about him for, I guess, producing in the first couple weeks of the season?
I mean, you should be. Any injury can linger. That lingers, you should be concerned. So yeah, I am. And that quarterback situation is kind of, we don't know who the quarterback is. I don't know what Lance is going to bring to the table if he's a starter. I'm kind of hoping that Jimmy G is a starter there for fantasy wise for those wide receivers until Lance develops a little bit more, I guess. But there's some questions there with the injury and the quarterback situation.
He's currently a 6th-round pick, Eric, the 23rd wide receiver off the board, right in between Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool. So would you rather have Ayuk or Deontay Johnson?
I'd take Ayuk. If he's healthy, I mean, obviously he's not going to be 100% the first couple of games probably, but, I mean, just showing what he showed in his rookie season, and outside of that, they only have George Kittle. I'm definitely taking him. I think he could easily finish as even a high-end wide receiver too if he's actually healthy. for the majority of the season. But I mean, obviously, like you said, hamstrings do linger, so it worries me, but I'm willing to take that risk just because in Pittsburgh, they still have the 3 wide receivers, and, we really don't know what's going to happen there either.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that, from week 7 to 16, like you said, when he's healthy, he did play 7 games and he averaged over 18 points per game in that stretch. All right. Saquon Barkley has a strong chance to play week 1. How much does that worry you about a first-round pick? Sorry to interrupt you there, Keenan, but how much does that worry you about a first-round pick that, they have a strong chance to play week 1? They're already coming back from an injury. Is he out of the first round for you? Is it second round Saquon?
Not draft him at all. If there's any question marks for him that he might not play in the first week, second week, or he might re-injure that knee, I'm not drafting him.
It's kind of a good point because he's been injured for a year already, almost. So what is going to happen over the next week and a half that, if they're really concerned about his week 1 status, then that makes me feel like they're possibly concerned about week 2, week 3, and who knows, maybe week 4.
Yeah, and he's currently going as the 10th overall player, the running back 9 off the board, but he's right in front of Najee Harris, right after Jonathan Taylor. For me, if I'm in the back half of the first round, I'm taking that chance. If I can get Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley, man, that would be amazing. You have 2 players that can both potentially finish as the overall 1, but I do think Barkley still has that ability to finish as the overall RB1. I understand there is some injury history that he's had lately, but I mean, he's still amazing. He gets a lot of carries. He gets a lot of catches. I have faith that the Giants are going to use him as they should use him. I know that they're building around Daniel Jones, but Saquon Barkley is a piece of that building block for Daniel Jones. So
I agree. It's just
yeah.
But do you see what I'm saying?
I understand.
He's been injured. He's been injured for this long. So
right.
If you don't know he's going to be ready for sure within the next week and a half, that really, really does worry me that he could potentially miss multiple games.
So
they may just not be saying it.
I think they've been sitting him. Yeah, I think they've been sitting him. So that's why I think it's just been to get him some rest. But I understand you want to mitigate that risk in the first round. If you could have, again, like I just said, if you could have a Jonathan Taylor and a Tyreek Hill over getting Saquon Barkley, I understand that all day. Trust me, I do. But I am finding myself getting him at least so far in one draft.
He's outside of my top 10 in running backs right now.
Yeah,
he is absolutely one of the very few players currently in the league that can pull an AP. I fully
yeah,
so it could 100% happen. It's just for me, it's if he does potentially miss multiple games.
It's the risk.
That's what it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was the time for IR designations. Some notable players that did go on: Michael Thomas, he'll be missing the first 5 weeks. They do have a bye in week 6, and as well as Rashad Bateman, who unfortunately went down, as well as Miles Boykin. So rookie Rashad Bateman with Baltimore, I was really hoping he was going to be able to come back at least in the first couple weeks, but unfortunately it's going to be at least the first 5 weeks, coming back in week 6, or come back into week 7. Sorry. So Rashad Bateman, I know we're going to talk about Marquise Brown later, guys, but Rashad Bateman is in Dynasty. Are you worried at all for year 1? Are you moving him?
No, you don't move him in Dynasty. I mean,
what if you're?
You should move him because he's on the Ravens, but but no, you don't panic if you're in Dynasty wise. But
I definitely, definitely hold on because you never want to trade somebody right when they get injured.
Yeah,
never.
Well, the value is low. Yeah.
Well, like Cam Akers, for example. I know, Eric, you and Keenan just trade with Cam Akers, someone that you just recently had acquired, obviously in the last year with drafting and ever, but he's out for the year. If you're a competing team, do you think he's an asset or a piece that you might?
I guess it depends. So I guess maybe because I do remembering Rashad Bateman, he was going in the 6th round of startups.
He's going
up pretty up there. So, I mean, yeah, but if someone like him who can actually come back within the beginning of the season potentially.
Upset alert! Ohio State is down.
The second quarter.
Oh, almost halftime. Ohio State's down 14-10.
Sorry, Eric, you didn't deserve that.
All right, go ahead. Continue.
Wow. But he's somebody that can potentially come back after like maybe 3-4 games. And he's still so young. I mean, yeah, but he's all excited about it.
I bet on Ohio State.
Yeah,
And I'm cheering for Minnesota. That's
Yeah, we almost
I think that's fair. Eric.
Well,
that's fair with Rashad. T.Y. Hilton went on IR. Yes, sir. You got something important?
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that injury for who are we talking about? Not Bateman. Saquon. That Dak injury that's lingering around his shoulder. I'm not drafting him either because you can't take that risk on Dak either. If you can't take a risk on Barkley, I mean, I guess you're getting Dak later on, and it's not that much of a risk if you're getting him in the 8th round compared to a 1st round. But if that shoulder's still lingering and he's still not throwing, then I'm not drafting him either.
Well, currently he's going as our quarterback 6, and he's going right about round 5. But I guess if you're worried about that lingering, you have to be worried about Amari and CeeDee Lamb, would you not?
No. Oh, actually, yes. Cooper Rush is a quarterback. Yeah. I am. I'm very concerned about that whole offense. If that's the case, then.
Yeah, I mean now because you got CeeDee now who's up to wide receiver 12, and you got Cooper wide receiver 15. So, you're spending a top 3 picks on 2 wide receivers, both of whom would be tied to that quarterback that's been injured multiple times in the last 10 months. So I don't know. I mean, I'm already upset that CeeDee's jumped Amari Cooper. I'm sorry, Amari's down to 17, so I'm already upset that CeeDee's up to 12 and Amari's at 17. I'm not seeing that leap so far this year. But I just wanted to hear your quick thoughts, I guess, after you mentioned the Dak injury.
Yeah, I do agree. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know who the hell Cooper Rush is. But they did just sign Will Greer from Carolina. I was kind of surprised they didn't go after Cam Newton, kind of same style quarterback. Without Cam Newton's arm is kind of shot though. But yeah, now you got me a little speechless. Now I'm thinking of all the stocks that I have.
It's just worrisome because they had mentioned a couple times, McCarthy and Dallas, that they're going to be taking him slow. They're going to be easing him in. And it was just, it scared me originally when he first popped the shoulder, came back after 2 weeks, and then re-aggravated it. And that's when okay, we're just going to keep bringing him back slow. So, I mean, I know they're going to start in week 1. So I'm just hoping that there's been enough time to make that happen and that it doesn't get re-aggravated. So that's the only thing that's worrying me, that CeeDee Lamb is creeping up to wide receiver 12 because, historically, to be a wide receiver 1, you've needed at least 250 points PPR the last 5 years. 2018, I believe it was like that down year with wide receivers where it was like 225. But, to get 250, he's going to need like 80 catches, 1,300 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Yeah. I mean, saying that out loud, I think we can see that. But I don't know. Yeah. That's true. They do have Tampa Bay.
So I do. So I'm reading. I just wanted to mention an article that I was looking over, and it was just I don't know who exactly, but it was a quote. He was talking about the injury that Dak had, and he said as soon as he saw it, I want to find out who. Oh, it was NFL CBS analyst Phil Simms. There we go. He said he wasn't surprised when Dak's injury because when you're trying to or having trouble planning your foot to throw, you're making adjustments with your throw, and he's saying that's what caused the injury. So that could potentially maybe even cause more problems during the season. Maybe reading that, you know what I mean? Because I mean he's going to be, adjusting his throw the entire season if his foot's feeling like that, if he just wasn't ready. So maybe they just brought him back too quick.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys call it Hard Knocks. His first practice, the coach McCarthy was really concerned about how many reps he took in practice. So
I had to catch up on Hard Knocks.
And I don't know. We'll move on after this. I don't know if they, like you said, Eric, that they threw him in there and said, "Go get as many reps as you want." Now, I mean, if you're not playing football for a while, you're not in football shape. It's not just your knee or or your arm is your whole body that needs to catch up to become in football shape, and there's more chance of you being injured if you're just going out there and taking how many reps, 40 reps in practice. So they were talking about lowering his rep count. What happened in next practice? He hurt his shoulder. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. So temper those expectations. So this episode, it's about the sleepers, breakouts, bust. We're going to talk about some FOMO players. So some guys that we're really afraid we don't want to miss the train on. So we have been drafting them, and a couple players that have been frequently showing up on our drafts or our mocked rosters. So why don't we get some of this started, Keenan?
sure.
Why don't you get me started with one of your sleepers? We got 2 each here.
Yeah, I got the Marquise Callaway, New Orleans Saints wide receiver. He's going in the 10th round. I mean, Michael Thomas, we just talked about it. He's out for five weeks. He's looks like Callaway is going to be their number 1 wide receiver there. Had some flash this past preseason. Made some really nice plays. So I mean, if you could grab him in, like I said, the 10th, 11th round, I think you might have yourself a nice sleeper there to put in the flex, especially with the way Winston played in that last preseason, which was very, very intriguing to watch that offense move the ball. It's kind of scary to say this, but that offense hasn't looked that way in like 3 years with Breeze, just because Breeze's arm kind of died on him as the years went on.
Do you think that he's going to be a thing after week 6 when Michael Thomas is back?
Yeah, I think same thing with we just mentioned with Dak getting into football shape and whatnot. I mean, MT has been out for over a year now, and now he's got another injury. I think just because MT comes back in week 6, week 7 doesn't mean that he's going to go in there and get his 10, 15 receptions targets. I think if Callaway produces in the first couple weeks, I think him and Winston develop a little bit of chemistry. There's no way you can take him off the field or take his targets away.
Eric, you've got another young wide receiver to talk about for one of your sleepers.
Yeah, one of our hometown boys here, Gabe Davis.
Mm-hmm.
He's going 185th overall. He's not even being drafted in some leagues. He started 8 games last year for the Bills, and he was on pace for like 1,200 yards and like 12 touchdowns, I believe it was. I just the connection he's building with Josh Allen, you saw it in the final preseason game. He had 2 touchdowns. He is a deep threat for the Bills, and he's going to get his touchdowns this season. I think he is a legitimate threat for double-digit touchdowns, and he's being undrafted. I mean, you can literally pick him up in the 16th round. He can be your last wide receiver. I know Emmanuel Sanders is there. Stephon Diggs is obviously the alpha there. They got Beasley still, but I mean, he's young. He's extremely good. I really believe they want him to be, part of the future of this offense. And like I said, he's building that chemistry with Josh Allen. And I'm just shocked that he's not even being drafted in some leagues.
I was just going to say that I've seen him go undrafted, and that's when I put my IR players on IR and I go scoop him up.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys this, because currently down in round 15, so yeah, virtually undraftable. So what about AJ Green or Gabe Davis?
Davis. AJ Green might be the third or fourth option there. I know everyone wants to think that AJ Green is going to be the second option there, but he there's no, especially in an offense where they're going to run the ball more than they're going to pass the ball.
Got a Davis believer there.
Compared to the Bills. Yeah, compared to the Bills offense where they're throwing the ball 40 plus times a game.
Yeah, I was a big fan of AJ Green, or at least as a buy low. Still kind of am. But yeah, Arizona's been spreading the ball a lot this preseason.
And on top of that,
didn't they just draft a wide receiver too?
So not only is Davis going to get if all the wide receivers in Buffalo stay fully healthy for all 17 games, Davis isn't going to get 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns, but he could get maybe 700 to 800 yards and 10 touchdowns or so. But if anything, and that's obviously fantastic for somebody that's undrafted. But if something happens to Emmanuel Sanders, if something happens to Beasley, God forbid something happens to Diggs, he's going to light it up. And I fully believe that.
That touchdown pass was so sexy. This weekend, that was just a dart to
which one? The Allen to
Davis. Allen to Davis for almost 30 yards.
I don't think anyone in the world can make that throw. Not even Mahomes.
They said he threw. Oh, it was 39 air yards in 1.4 seconds. It was something like that. It was crazy.
Just to recap real quick, what you were saying, guys, because why I think that's a good pick, and not just being a Buffalo Bill fan here, but truthfully, is you just said, what if something happens to Sanders? What if something happens to Beasley? Well, Sanders is currently injured. He's 34 years old. He came off that Achilles injury from 2 years ago, and then Beasley. Well, what if something happens to Beasley? I mean, that's enough said. I think everybody understands what's going on with Beasley. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for him to be the second target there. You are right. All right, man. I'm going to move over to one of my sleepers, and it is Trey Sermon. I have been talking about him all offseason. I am very excited for him. Currently going as running back 32. He's going 84th overall. So right about round 7. I'm very excited for Trey Sermon. I know Raheem Mostert's had a good preseason as well, but so is Trey Sermon. That's what happens when you're in a Kyle Shanahan offense, because I believe a lot in what the 49ers do. Sermon fits really well with their scheme. He does well in shotgun. Even if Trey Lance can come in, I think it's going to be even more of an improvement for him. But he's a hard runner, and I'm really excited for what he can do. They drafted him for a reason. Mostert's getting older in age. He's still quick as hell, but it's more of a 1-2 punch. And like I said, I'm taking Sermon in a lot of my drafts. So far, he's on 3 of my teams. But gotta love that 49ers team, baby. Let me ask you. Like I said, he's going 84th right now. Zach Moss right behind him. I mean, I think Zach Moss is unfortunately taking a big hit. So I don't know if Sermon's there now. What about Leonard Fournette or Trey Sermon?
I'd take the chance on Sermon. We know what Fournette's going to bring to that offense. He's gonna get his 10 to 15 carries, a touchdown, maybe a couple targets. But I think where the difference in the two teams is, you don't know what Lance is going to bring to that 49ers offense, and is there going to be more pass? Is there going to be more chances for Sermon to get receptions where Fournette is more of just a downhill runner? Even though Fournette's a very underrated pass catcher out of the backfield.
All right, one more. Damon Harris or Trey
Harris.
Sermon?
I take Harris. With Cam gone now, Harris's value is skyrocketing, and they just moved Sony.
Yeah, yes, they did. And speaking of Sony Michel, what a good segue we have there. I'm going to talk about my other sleeper, and that is Sony Michel. I'm really excited for what he's going to bring to the table. I was actually a Sony Michel truther a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, I took him running 4th overall when he had come out, and that didn't come too much fruition. But he's going as the RB41 right now, 126 overall, right about round 11. He had 5.7 yards per carry last year on a New England team that did run the ball a lot. But, man, he was hella efficient, even better than Damien Harris. And he had a 4.5 yards per carry on over 200 attempts in 2019. So I think Sean McVay knows value, sees value, gets the players that he wants. He's willing to throw away those draft picks as he does, and wanted to do it on Sony Michel. We've seen Darrell Henderson be injured. We've seen Darrell Henderson do a lot of good things, but I think Sony Michel is going to be able to come in and get that 8 to 10 touches a game and maybe slowly show that he's a little bit more talented than Darrell Henderson. And he might wind up being a lead back by the end of the season and winning your leagues, helping you win your leagues.
Speaking of that, I think it might be a good strategy this year is in the end of your draft, if you do have that extra spot, if you miss out on Darrell Henderson in the beginning of the draft, or you just didn't want him, grab Sony Michel or Xavier Jones. Right?
He's on IR.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I got put on IR.
Yeah,
today.
that's what-
grab Sony later just in case. Because what round is Sony going in?
Probably undrafted.
Round 11.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going 11.
I
now?
mean, he's going around 11. So
yeah.
I mean, he's definitely got some.
But
got some
Henderson's
value.
going in like the fourth or fifth.
Correct.
Up there. So I mean, if you don't want Henderson, grab him just in case because you never know.
Yeah, that's what I've been looking at it now. Is I'm kind of mitigating my risk and going with Michelle because I know those Michelle touches will be there, and I just feel like he's a little more talented than what Henderson can do. But hey, I could be wrong.
And there's very little risk in those rounds. So
yeah. Eric, why don't you tell us your second sleeper?
This is a good one. This is a really good one.
This is another one. I'm very shocked that he's going this low. But Russell Gage for the Atlanta Falcons he's going 146 overall. Everyone knows Julio Jones is a Tennessee Titan now. And I know Kyle Pitts came in too, but I actually think Kyle Pitts is going to help take some pressure off of Russell Gage. On top of that, Calvin Ridley is poised to have, the best season of his career. And there's going to be plenty of targets to go around in this offense. Yeah. They're going to have to put up points to win games. Like their defense isn't anything special. So, he may be the third option depending on what happens with Pitts, but he's going to get plenty of targets, and especially going in the 12th, 13th round. I mean, scoop him up.
Semi-pro tip, make sure you're looking at your rankings in the proper scoring format you want to be looking at them in. I was had in standard the whole time. All right, Russell Gage or Cole Beasley.
That's a good one.
I love Beasley, but I'm actually going to go Gage.
Well, you gotta go Gage. Yeah. You just put him up as your sleeper. You gotta go Gage.
Yeah,
I know the one thing I want to make with Atlanta, and we're talking about their targets. I know they signed Mike Davis this past year, and Mike Davis has been in the league for quite some time. And he's supposed to be their RB1. However, do you trust him to make that Atlanta run game any better? So I'm with you, Eric. I think there's plenty of targets to go around. I don't care if even if they had Julio Jones, Russell Gage would be a good sleeper.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Matt Ryan's 11 seasons, bad math, 13 seasons, his third targeted player had more than 90 targets.
Yeah.
88 targets, 7 of his 13 years. So, I mean, if you can get him 90 plus targets, he's looking at 60 catches. He's looking at probably, 750, 800 yards, and he's probably going to get 5 or 6 touchdowns, if not even a little higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Russell Gage is a good one. Keenan, second.
Yeah, our last sleeper here, Jacoby Myers for New England Patriots. I know they just spent a lot of money on their 2 monster tight ends and Kent Bourne and Aguilar, the 2 wide receivers. But Jacoby Myers is still their wide receiver 1. He had a great year last year, a good year last year with Cam Newton as their quarterback. As the offseason went on this past year, I kind of fell out of love with Jacoby Myers. Because every time Cam Newton scrambles, that's one less target that Jacoby Myers is possibly getting. Now that Cam Newton's gone and they have a true pocket passer in Mac Jones, and Jacoby Myers is their wide receiver 1, I think he's still, now his value's going up a little bit more, and he's going to get a little bit more targets with Mac Jones under helm. I'm
excited for Jacoby.
Yeah, I picked him up in a couple dynasty leagues last year, and I'm happy to have him as my 5th or 6th wide receiver on a dynasty team.
Would you rather take Jacoby or Darnell Mooney?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, I don't know what the hell Chicago is doing with that offense.
Wait till game 2.
They looked rough. I mean, Fields looked rough too all preseason. It won't be long until that whole coaching staff is let go. So I'm gonna go with Jacoby just for now until I see more out of that Chicago offense.
Wow, I don't know.
And
yeah,
what do you
second half of the first game?
What are you talking about? Wait till week 2. You were just giving Fields a hard time for not being able to read the field the other night.
I don't think Fields is. I think he's going to get himself hurt because he is not seeing. He's not seeing his right side at all. Actually, he hasn't seen his blind side either. Just he's not seeing pressure coming from his sides. Like that's the issue. Both ends are just. I've seen at least three in each game now. 3 separate occasions where he has almost gotten killed. We saw it happen in the Bills game.
Yeah, lit up.
It's just you just got to be a little wiser. Now he can get himself out of those situations. That's what's going to be really helpful with Chicago. But Andy Dalton's going to be facing the same exact kind of pressure, and that's why I'm telling you, week 2, I think Fields will be in. He's going to. Yes, Chicago's not probably going to do too hot this year, but they just got to let Fields ride, I think. I mean, they just got to throw him in and just let him go.
I do love Mooney, though. I'm not going to lie.
He did really, really well down the stretch.
I mean, if we're talking about
targets,
if we're talking about Dynasty, I'll take Mooney. But if we're talking just this year, I'll take Myers. Fair enough?
Fair. That's fair for me. All right. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Antonio Denisi FF. You can find Eric at Biggie_FF and Keenan at Keenan_716. Make sure you're following the pod at Dynasty Mafia_FF. And make sure if you check us out on YouTube, you're hitting that bell to subscribe. Get a notification every time we're on.
Cardell Jones, Travis.
I thought it was a pretty valid question.
Cardell Jones.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence. He technically can.
No.
Yeah, no. I'm not sure. Yeah, Troy Smith was a big killer. Jamarcus. Yeah.
I'm looking at the list. It's pretty bad. It's real bad.
They had Heisman winner in the 90s or something, didn't they?
I mean, I'm sure they had a couple Heisman winners, but none of them are NFL. So their last quarterbacks that were drafted they had Troy Smith in 2007, Terrell Pryor in 2011, Cardell Jones in 2016, and
so Terrell Pryor, there you go,
and Dwayne,
not even the quarterback,
Dwayne Haskins. Those were the last 4 quarterbacks drafted in the last 20 years, and plus Fields. So there's been a while since
he had I think Terrell Pryor had close to 1,000 yards that 1 year, didn't he? Am I crazy?
Was it when he was put on at the wide receiver position?
Yeah, probably crazy. All right, thanks for that little segue there, Travis. That's going to lead us to Keenan.
Yes, sir.
That's going to lead us to Eric. Eric's got the Ohio State alum for his breakout. Why don't you get us going on your breakouts, Eric?
Yeah. So my first one is Michael Pittman Jr. Coming into his second year with the Colts. Maybe a year too soon on this one, but hopefully not. But no, with Carson Wentz coming in, Carson Wentz had a nice connection with a nice big wide receiver in Philadelphia named Alshon Jeffrey. I think Pittman, he showed some flashes last year. He didn't get a ton of targets, but when he did get targets, he showed some flashes. He had that one game where he had 8 targets for 7 catches and over 100 yards. He only had 1 touchdown, unfortunately, but give this kid some targets. I think he's going to build up some chemistry with Carson Wentz. T.Y. Hilton's going to be out the door soon. I think Carson Wentz is going to do a lot more for this passing game than Phillip Rivers was able to do. I know a lot of people are out on Carson Wentz, but I was always a believer of him. I really think it was injuries that bring him down and not talent. But I think they're going to be able to protect him this year. So, I think it's going to be a good year there.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the field a lot, which was a good thing. He just didn't see that many targets. So I think now with T.Y. Hilton going on IR and everything you just mentioned, I think there's a lot of opportunity for him. Corey Davis or Michael Pittman Jr.?
I don't know.
Davis is getting peppered with targets.
Yeah. That's actually tough. Dynasty, obviously, Pittman way obviously out of the water there, but for redraft, Corey Davis could actually have a decent year this year because obviously, I love Zach Wilson, and that offense is gonna be decent. It's gonna be better than people think. I'm telling you, but I'm probably go Corey Davis there.
Talk yourself into it, huh?
Yeah,
I think I go Davis too. DJ Chark or Pittman.
I take Chark.
I'd say Chark. I really like Chark. I mean,
Chark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you why Chark sucks. That's why.
Oh, here we go.
Thankfully, people are getting a little bit smarter because my boy, my breakout Laviska Shenault, he is going to be. He's just started getting drafted ahead of DJ Chark. DJ Chark is 95th. Laviska is 92nd. Wide receiver 38 off the board. Yo, listen right now. Laviska Shenault is going to get 100 catches this year. 100 catches from Trevor Lawrence. I'm calling him right now. It's actually one of my bold predictions. That's why he's my breakout. He is great with yards after the catch. He is one of the best at breaking tackles of all wide receivers in the league, and it's only going to be his second year. And you know what? Trevor Lawrence loves him. And you know why Trevor Lawrence loves him? Because Trevor Lawrence's offensive line hates the hell out of him. He is getting so much pressure. He's being pressured on 38% of his dropbacks this preseason, the most of any quarterback. And that's why Laviska Shenault is seeing a lot of targets from it. And you know what? He's catching a lot of them because they're within 5 to 7 yards, and he gets that yards after the catch. Chenault's going to be a good candidate, I think, for 1,100 yards and hopefully 8 touchdowns. So I know it's aggressive, but 100 catches, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns for Laviska Shenault. Calling it right now.
Can you take that note, Eric, please?
Round 8, you can get him in. I mean, he's getting up there, he's getting up there. But right about round 8 is where you can grab him right now. I like that because
Shenault too.
Being my wide receiver 4. But
100 catches.
100 catches.
I know.
All right. Hey, that's what I'm telling you. DJ Chark, he's probably gonna be more in like the 70 catch range.
You know who their wide receiver 1 is, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be Laviska Shenault.
No, it's not. It's gonna be Marvin Jones.
That's what I'm.
I'll bet you right now.
I think the three of them will be within probably 20 to 25 targets, but I think Shenault will lead it with about 140 targets. I really think he's gonna get 8 or 9 a game.
I'll bet you a six-pack right now that Marvin Jones ends up with more fantasy points.
While you do that, I'll write this down. You talk about your breakout.
I'll take that bet.
Which side?
My first breakout is Damian Harris. It looks like I'm loving a lot of New England Patriots players today, but and it's pretty simple. Cam's gone, and they traded Sony Michel. So who else do they have? Damian Harris, and they have Stevenson, the rookie. So I think Damian Harris gets his opportunity. He actually last year, before he got injured, he had per carry, he had 5 yards per carry, and he led the NFL. So don't sleep on Damian Harris. I'm happy I didn't trade him this past year in Dynasty. We're always concerned about that New England backfield because they run 4 or 5 running backs out there every game, and we don't know which running back is going to get the bulk of the carries each game. But I think they're officially made Damian Harris their wide receiver 1 now that Cam is gone and that Sony Michel was traded. And I don't think Stevenson really brings a threat into it's not a big threat for Harris. And then do they still have White there?
Yeah, but he's injured.
Yeah, he's injured, but he was also one of Brady's guys.
Yeah.
And Brady's not there anymore. So rookie.
And they've been rotating 3 backs for a while. And
yeah.
People still getting there. So yeah.
Rookie quarterback. They're going to run the ball a little bit more. I'm going to go with Damian Harris as one of my breakout players this year. Do you want me to do my second, or did you want to go?
About Damian.
What's that?
I said we've been talking a bit about Damian Harris. I like it.
I like it. I got to see what his ADP is, but I think he's a steal.
Yeah, we were just where did I have him? We were discussing him earlier. Eric, why don't you talk about your ADP? Or I'm sorry. Why don't you talk about your next breakout?
Yeah, and I'm going over to the quarterback position here. Sam Darnold with the Panthers. Talked about him a little bit before.
You've been on him all year.
I'm telling you, man, this is it. This is his breakout year. He has the weapons. I like his coach there. I like the offense. He was such a high prospect coming out of college, and Adam Gase just ruined him. It was just awful. They put no weapons around him. They had no protection around him, just nothing. He needed to get out of there. He finally did. I think the Panthers have their quarterback of the future there, and yeah, he's a gunslinger. Robbie Anderson, he's going to have a fantastic year. DJ Moore too. So I love the whole offense. I mean, what else can you ask for? He's got what he needs. Now we just got to see what happens.
Speaking of Robbie Anderson, he just got paid again.
Yeah.
2
years, 29
million.
Yeah.
Good day. My man's made some money.
Yeah, he has.
Being quietly
that might hurt your breakout. One of your breakout players, Antonio.
So my breakout was DJ Moore, but I did decide.
Did you
against that? Yeah, well, because you see, I got somebody else. There.
Oh, the sheet doesn't say that, so
I can agree with Travis. Panthers making the playoffs. I think you remember how our listeners, we were really high in the Rams last year. I really feel like this year our all-in teams might be the Panthers. So speaking of, it's not the Panthers, but Lions. So similar kind of animal. DeAndre Swift, that's my boy. That's my other breakout. Running back 17. People are getting worried.
I'm worried.
Dude, let him keep dropping. I will keep taking him all day. 34th overall, getting him right about round 3. I love it. I don't know. I mean, he's got almost everything going in his favor except for the guy right behind center. And that's going to be Jared Goff. But that's going to be a bonus to me, Jared Goff, he's going to get a little scared. When he gets a little scared, he's going to drop the ball down a little bit. The line isn't the best compared to what the Rams were. They had a really good line for most of the time that he was there, at least. But, for me right now, he's going at running back 17, and that's just, like I said, it's an absolute steal. He's going to end up in the top 5, or he has the potential to be in the top 5. He's going to get 50-plus catches. He's going to get close to 300 touches. He's got a head coach that loves to run. He's got an offensive coordinator that loves to run. And he could be second in the team in targets behind Hawkinson. So, behind his tight end, he's probably looking to be the second best. Last season, he had in his last 9 games when they really started giving the ball, he had 14-plus touches in 6 of those 9 games. He had double-digit points in 11 of those 14, and he had 8 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift had double-digit touchdowns on the crappy-ass Lions last year. They were just nothing but just a crap show. Like that's exactly what the Lions were. Obviously, Stafford got out for a reason, but I think DeAndre Swift is going to be a big benefactor. I like Jamal Williams coming in to give him a change of pace, but I don't think he's going to take a lot from him. So DeAndre Swift, RB17, give me it.
Well, I got him as one of my busts.
Yeah, let's hear your nonsense, Keenan.
It has nothing to do with DeAndre Swift, though. He's a great player. It just that whole Lions team is, I don't know, a mess. Have you gotten any good vibes from Campbell or Lynn? I mean, they went out and picked up the running back from Green Bay.
Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams. You just mentioned him. I know you're saying that he's not going to be a threat, but I think he is. He took carries away from Aaron Jones in games, and Aaron Jones is more established than DeAndre Swift. And I think, even last year there was no one really behind DeAndre Swift, and they took away carries from him. That organization has not. It's only been a year, but they have not committed to DeAndre Swift 100%.
They don't need to commit 100%. That's the thing.
Okay, give me 80%. Once they give me 80%,
60. Anthony Lynn 60. With Austin Eckler. Anthony Lynn ran that ball almost 30 times a game. They were the heaviest running team in the league, and they were a very fast-paced team. They ran the most plays in the league last year. I don't think they're going to be as fast, but don't forget, Jared Goff's used to running quick plays with Sean McVay.
Even if they run it 80 times, here's my other concern.
No, you run the ball 30 times, Swift can get 17
30 times. Okay, even if they run it 30 times, though, is that passing offense going to be good enough to open up holes in the run game? Because if it's not good enough, they're going to have 8 men in the box every time.
They could stack the box. DeAndre Swift had some last year, and he still averaged over 4 yards a carry. He had 4.5 yards a carry, and he didn't play over 60% of the snaps a lot of the games. But I think, like I said, he's a candidate for 300 touches. You give him the ball 200, 230, 240 times on the ground, that's over 1,000 yards. And if you can get 400 or 500 in the air, with his 50 to 60 catches. I mean, you're talking about a guy that gets 1,500 total yards, and he's already going to get double-digit touchdowns. That's not an RB17, man. That's a top 5 RB.
We'll see.
I'm excited. We'll see. Why don't you talk about your breakout that
it's just Clyde
not going to disagree
Edwards-Helaire
with, though?
Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to break out this season. Remember last year, Monday night or Thursday Night Football, Eric, I think you said it, a star was born, and he had that great game.
I did say that.
Well, guess what? He's about to be a star. Is going to be reborn this season. Don't sleep on this guy. He's in one of the best offenses. I know everyone says, "Oh, Mahomes doesn't throw it to running backs." Well, guess what? He's going to eventually have to, because I mean that offense is that good where they're going to throw the ball 40 sometimes, and Hilaire's going to have to get some of the little dump downs. So I thought Hilaire had a good rookie season. Everyone says the hype kind of, last year, everyone was expecting a lot more out of him, but I thought it was a decent rookie campaign for him, and I think he's just going to keep improving. And they did spend a first round pick on him, and they're going to make sure that first round pick looks good. And they did not go sign Le'Veon Bell this past offseason or someone like him like they did last year.
Yeah, we've talked multiple times about Clyde on pace for over 300 touches before they brought Le'Veon Bell in. That was probably just a big, not probably. It was Andy Reid. He's not too crazy on rookies at times, and there was a veteran presence in there from Bell. So I agree with you on CEH. Who would you rather have between CEH and Joe Mixon?
Well, Joe Mixon is my other bust. Until I see that offensive line improve in Cincinnati, I'm going to have to go with Hilaire. I think Mixon is a better overall running back, but the Bengals offensive line was rough last year. They made some improvements. We'll just have to see if they made enough improvements to make that run game click.
Eric, CEH or Najee?
Najee
Harris.
Yeah, come on. That was a dumb question.
I mean, I don't know. They're, again, both candidates for 300-plus touches, both on fast, quick-pace, high-powered offenses.
The difference
– get double-digit touchdowns.
The difference is Pittsburgh's going to have to run the ball a little bit more if they want to keep Ben past Week 11. Because last year they were throwing the ball all over the place. Week 11 came around and it looked like Big Ben was ready to go to a nursing home. So
doesn't Clyde also have like a high ankle sprain right now too?
Better not.
Yeah, they said. Well, no, he has an ankle sprain. I believe they said it was not a high ankle sprain.
Oh, it's not a high ankle, okay, but it's an ankle sprain. So
definitely, yes, ankle sprain nonetheless. Hopefully his ankle was not busted, just like our bust that we're gonna continue to talk about. So we got our breakouts. We've got our sleepers. We're going to end it up with our bust. That was not the best segue this time. Sorry. All right. Eric, talk about one of your busts. Man, I'm looking at this list right now, actually. We got a lot of running backs here.
Well, I talked about
I know Keenan already talked about – well, Keenan did already talk about his two busts. Keenan, why don't you just remind us who they are?
Joe Mixon, running back, Cincinnati Bengals. DeAndre Swift, running back, Detroit Lions.
Thanks.
And mine – my first one is David Montgomery.
Running back.
I know. Running back, Chicago Bears. Obviously, we all know what he did in the end of the season, but I don't know. Andy Dalton leading the charge. I mean, he's going to see a lot of stacked boxes, I think. I mean, this offense is going to be bad. I mean, unless they switch to Justin Fields and he gets a spark in there and does something, I don't know. I just don't know if he's going to have enough to work with to keep up with those numbers that he was finishing out the season with last year. And that's honestly, it's really, I mean, I don't think he's necessarily a bad running back. He's got some talent. He isn't the best, but he's not the worst. It's more of being on a bad offense, and he's going to have plenty of opportunity, but I don't know. I'm just staying away from him this year.
Yeah, that's I'm a David Montgomery truther this season. I understand again that Chicago is kind of just a dumpster fire, but I'm excited for. I think they're going to lean on him. I think they're going to have to lean on him. we're going to see because they got young wide receivers and they have a young quarterback. So we'll see. RB15 though, it's about right. So I think it's about right for me. Right before Chris Carson, right before James Robinson, not before DeAndre Swift. I don't like that, but yeah, James Robinson then. James Robinson or Dave Montgomery? What would you two say?
Honestly, I'd probably go. That one's tough.
I go Robinson just because of the year he had last year, and now ETN is hurt, done for the year.
Yeah, with ETN down, I mean, Robinson's already showed he can be a top 5 back. I just, and I do like that offense just a little bit better. I mean, they didn't really show much in the preseason, but I do like Trevor Lawrence and those wide receivers better than Andy Dalton. So, I'll go Robinson.
Right, that's fair. I'm going to move over to one of my busts, and it's Josh Jacobs. I want to like Josh Jacobs so much. I hate that I keep moving him down every single week, but it's just tough to keep defending him. I mean, he gets the touchdowns last season. Didn't really get much the year before, but he doesn't get the yards. He only had over 90 rushing yards twice last season in the 15 games. It's really worrisome. The Raiders, I don't know what's going to happen with the Raiders. They've got Bryan Edwards and Henry Ruggs. They just dropped John Brown. So they don't really have a lot of threats to kind of help out Josh Jacobs. They brought in Kenyon Drake. They paid him some good backup money. So I think they're going to want to run the ball. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to go too well for Josh Jacobs. He's always struggled with yards per carry. So he doesn't catch the ball very much either. So it just kind of worries me when he's going ahead of someone like Miles Sanders and ahead of, here we go, Miles Sanders, Myles Gaskin, Mike Davis. Honestly, I'd rather have Josh Jacobs, or I'd rather have the three of them over Josh Jacobs. He should be down. I mean, I'd rather have Javonte Williams over Josh Jacobs. That's how much I'm getting into myself that I really am not excited for what the Raiders are going to bring to the table this year. I feel bad saying that.
Speaking of Javonte Williams, I can go into my next bus.
Might as well.
Oh, Keenan, what were you about to say? What's it about?
No, it was nothing. I was gonna say something about Jacobs, but I do
3 games over 90 yards last year. Sorry, not 2. My apologies. But that's the thing. It was just he scored and he had sorry, I'm doing quick math here. He had 12 touchdowns on the ground, but the problem was that it was in 7 games. So like he brought you and I remember it was a struggle when I had him in fantasy last season because he's someone that consistently had all the touches and the touches were great, but the production wasn't there. And that's something I don't see changing. Eric, you were switching years. Second bust.
Yeah. So Javonte Williams' counterpart, Melvin Gordon. He's not necessarily being drafted high at all, but I just really wanted to talk about him because he's only going a round and a half behind Javonte Williams. And just in my own personal draft, I saw him go in one draft. I saw him go ahead of Javonte Williams by a round. So I don't think, I know the reports are saying that he's going to start out the season, but I think Javonte Williams, what he showed in the preseason, I just think talent's going to take over. They actually held him out. I don't know why they did this, but they held Javonte out of the final preseason game, but they had Melvin Gordon play. And the coach said he wanted Melvin Gordon to start it off, and they wanted the other young guys to play because they liked what they saw out of Javonte and wanted him to sit. So that makes me feel very good going into the season, knowing that they want to keep him healthy and they like what they're seeing for Javonte.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon's. I don't want to say his days are numbered just yet because Javonte was struggling too. He had some issues, but they like to use both backs. They even got some Royce Freeman action in there, which was unfortunate. So that's my only. I mean, I know I just said I want Javonte Williams over Josh Jacobs, and I do. I just think they're going to continue to have Royce Freeman or someone be a part of that.
Yeah, but the good thing is they didn't hold Javonte out because of injury. They just simply said they wanted the other guys to play, and they liked what they saw out of him. So that makes me feel very good heading into week 1.
Yeah, I agree there. Someone that I don't feel good about, though, my other bust, it's Austin Eckler. going as RB10 currently, 12th player overall. He worries me. They lost Anthony Lynn, as we mentioned. He went over to Detroit. They do have Herbert, who just had like the best rookie quarterback season ever. So you got to see some regression, especially when Austin Eckler did a lot of it in the passing game. When he came back from his injury, he didn't have over when he came back from his injury, he had a lot of touches. He had over 25 touches in like 5 of his last 7 games. But the problem was they were clicking. They were firing on all cylinders. They were running a fast-paced offense. They didn't know how to defend Herbert. He was doing some crazy things, and I just think everything relies on Herbert and the regression that's going to come with it. I think Justin Jackson's probably going to be the RB2 that's going to win it over. So he'll be taking away some carries, and they were battling injuries between Josh Kelly and Justin Jackson last year. So I know that Austin Eckler gets a hell of a lot of catches. Just for me, when he's going right around the players like Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Najee Harris, I don't want to rely on my running back getting more catches than carries. And I just have a feeling.
Really?
Yeah, not with. I don't like that he's going to get maybe 7 catches and 5 carries, because I think eventually that might lessen the workload for him. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
I don't know. I think you're wrong. I think you're gonna be wrong on this one, buddy.
I think Keenan Allen. I think that Mike Williams is going to become more of a factor. I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about Austin Eckler being a first-round pick. Yeah. Well, I guess, would you rather have him or Najee Harris?
I'd probably take Eckler.
So do you think Eckler's going to get 300? I mean, he might be a candidate for 1,000 yards on the receiving. I get that.
I think Eckler has a chance to be RB1.
They could lean on him. I don't know if they will. Like, what if they wind up only running the ball, 20 to 25 times a game, and he's still splitting that 50-60%? I don't know. I feel like if he's only getting 15 or 16 touches a game.
I mean, I shared the stat with you earlier. Where is it? Where Austin Eckler finishes RB4 in 2019 with 171 fewer carries and 983 fewer rushing yards and 7 fewer touchdowns than Derrick Henry, who was RB5.
Yeah,
his catches are worth almost 2 points if you think about it.
They are definitely worth a lot. He had, in the 6 games that he came back, he had 37 catches. So, if that's going to put you on pace for, nearly 90 plus catches for your running back, that is a good thing. I just hope that the double-digit rushes can continue because, in retrospect, in 3 out of those 6 games, he had 10 or less touches.
Hey,
10 or less carries.
And he's giving away a free jersey every week if you start him in your lineup.
There's what you got to draft him, start him in your lineup, make sure you win, and then post that you started him. Yeah, it's he's a good dude. I'm glad that he likes fantasy though.
Yeah, I think
I have to stop hating him, but I just over Najee Harris, over Antonio Gibson, like over Joe Mixon. I don't know if I can do that.
You know how NBA players are involved in NBA Top Shot?
Yeah,
I wish NFL players were involved in fantasy football a little bit more.
They're getting there.
Yeah.
Some of them are getting there. I was watching Michael Conley Jr. was on a fantasy football show from the NBA. He was doing some talking, so that was actually kind of cool to see. He's pretty interested. All right. Okay. I think that hit us with our bus, guys, right?
Yep.
Just hit over an hour on the time. That was kind of quick. There is 2 more I want to run through real quick. And I know we've talked about some of these players already, but let's talk about our FOMO player. So literally the fear of missing out, man. There's always a player that year where, maybe the hype's really high or you just fall in love with someone. You're like, I'm grabbing my guy at this point. I don't want to not have him.
Antonio, we don't have 5 hours for you to talk about your guy.
I'm just
so you know. That. So let the listeners know who your guy is.
It's Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
That's it? That's all you got for us today?
You don't want me to go anywhere. No, that's you talked about Matt Ryan earlier, you talked about Russell Gage earlier. I think Kyle Pitts is going to be the second highest target on the team. I think you want another bold prediction?
Oh, here we go.
He's gonna have the most receiving yards by a tight end in the Super Bowl era. So he just needs to be 864.
We might as well put this guy in the Hall of Fame already with all your predictions.
He's going to be there. Just
Get him that
start
gold
walking down the
jacket.
hall. Give him the gold jacket. Throw a cape on him. Give him
Is
some
that the
golden
most?
armpits.
Is that the most for a rookie tight end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to break the rule. Well, Ditka's is like 1,200 something, but that was pre-Super Bowl. But I'm telling you, guys, Kyle Pitts, he's going to kill it. He's going to be a wide receiver too. He's going to be everything. I can't miss out on that.
Yeah, well, I can't miss out on Antonio Gibson. I know I just said Akers has a chance to be RB1, but I really think Antonio Gibson has a chance to be RB1 too.
Eckler.
What did I say?
Akers.
Yeah.
He's got a chance.
Yeah. But yeah, seriously though, on Gibson, last year he was on the field for only 44% of the team snaps. J.D. McKissick took a lot of those receptions away from him. And I think that 44% of snaps increases a lot. With Fitz under center, they're going to throw the ball a little bit more. And I know everyone is worried about Antonio Gibson's receptions because McKissick is still there. But Antonio Gibson was a very good pass catcher in Memphis. I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but look him up. He's very underrated when it comes to that. And I think he has a good chance to be an RB1 this year. So I can't miss him. I had to keep him yesterday.
They said they're going to use him like CMC, so that'll get you.
Well, hopefully that offense is good because my guy is Terry McLaurin on the same team.
Scary.
You guys talk to each other.
Yeah, no, I think this offense is going to be great. I mean, just look at what Terry did last year. He got over 130 targets. He only had the 4 touchdowns, but I think that's going to come up as well. And I legitimately, I mean, Fitzmagic, he's going to come in and he's going to sling it around. This isn't an Alex Smith run team or a Tyler Heineke. He can sling the ball. So I legitimately think Terry McLaurin is going to get 150 to 160 targets. And like I said, the touchdowns are going to increase. So you're looking at, close to 100 catches, maybe 1,300 yards and 7 to 8 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. And I'm finding I'm picking him up everywhere again.
I like it. We know what he's going to do with Fitz. Fitz makes all his wide receiver ones look like superstars. That's Devontae Parker. That.
Yeah, I mean, if he can play the full season, and I don't know, we talked about Terry McLaurin a couple months ago. I was talking about him as a big breakout for me, and then I started going backwards on myself. Yeah, you're right. Everything's on Fitz. It is. I love McLaurin so damn much. I want him to be a top 5 wide receiver. I think he has a great shot to do it. Yeah, those are some good FOMO players, guys. Kyle Pitts, Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin. All right about the same time too, rounds 3 to 5. All right. So with that being said, you're really afraid to miss out on a player. Who is somebody you're afraid to be wrong about?
Austin Eckler.
All right, Keenan. I'm gonna let Keenan start it off.
I got him in so many dynasty leagues. I'm targeting him in so many drafts. I am so scared that he's gonna bust this year. That's why I'm scared that he's gonna be wrong, because I have so much stock in him right now. And if he lets me down and he doesn't send me a jersey, I'm gonna be very sad.
All right, that's a good one. I'll take that. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I'll take over. Mine's Mark Andrews. Kind of a mix of having so many shares of him on top of I'm just a fan of him in general. And I was buying into him before he became a thing. I drafted him in a rookie draft and in the second round, and people were looking at me like I had 5 heads.
I was looking at you.
Yeah, and that was the year he broke out. And obviously last year it didn't look so good, but I'm just hoping that was just with the whole team in general. And I'm hoping things turn around, and he's great again. So, but yeah, definitely don't want things to turn south on him.
No, I'm interested on Antonio's here.
So I'm afraid to be wrong about Kenny Galladay, and this is because I absolutely love Kenny Galladay when he first came out. He was a big breakout guy of mine a couple years ago. And I got him in a lot of leagues, and I was excited. And then, unfortunately, injuries plagued Stafford, injuries plagued Galladay, and now he's somewhere else. They gave him the money.
They paid
them
up.
to throw the ball. They paid up, man. Like, I'm just so afraid to draft him right now, and I don't know why, and it makes me so angry because, like, he's going as wide receiver 29.
The quarterback.
He legit could be the biggest steal in the draft.
You can't say that exactly because
you can't say that. But
David, and you remember when Stafford got injured? Like, dude, he literally the first catch that threw to him was a freaking touchdown for like 60 yards.
Who was the quarterback?
David.
I have no idea who the hell that is.
Exactly.
But time out. But nothing against Galladay. Yeah, he's gonna. I think he puts numbers up no matter who the quarterback is, even if it's David Blah or David Denisi or Anthony Denisi. I think he puts up numbers. It just you're still the quarterback who's throwing the ball. You're still kind of afraid to draft him because of that situation.
But if you want to be afraid to draft him, I mean, where he's going right now, Keenan.
I mean, what Eric just said, I totally agree. He could be the biggest steal in the draft.
Yeah, like that's my fear is he gets 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns, on 80 catches, and I'm like, man,
could have had him in the
6th or 7th round. Yeah.
Like, so, look at what everybody thought Darius Slayton was going to be, and I think that's what the Giants want Kenny Galladay to be, and I think that's what he will be.
Yeah, he's bigger.
Like, after the first game last season, Darius Slayton, everybody was – even the Dynasty nerds, after the first game, Rich Dotson of the Dynasty nerds was saying he thinks Darius Slayton could be a Dynasty wide receiver 1. Obviously, it didn't come to fruition, but, I mean – that very well could be Kenny
almost did after that one game. Remember?
Yeah.
I'm getting mad at myself that I'm looking at. I gotta double check where my where he got drafted in some of those other leagues that I had done a few drafts in now, because now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, I mean, I'm grabbing Jamar Chase and Juju right around where Kenny's going. So like at that point, I'm grabbing him and Michael Thomas. So like those are players I've been finding myself drafting over Kenny Galladay. But
see, like at that point, like I absolutely love Juju, but I'm taking Kenny Galladay over him because I think he has a much higher ceiling for this year.
We say that, but like Juju had an apparently horrible season last year, and he had over 90 catches and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, he finished as wide receiver 18.
Yeah, like
a horrible season. People say I'm with you. Remember, Juju was my buy. So
yeah, all right. Yeah, so Kenny Galladay, Mark Andrews, Austin Eckler, players we are afraid to be wrong about. That wraps up the whole episode. That was a quick hour and 12 minutes, but, kind of a long hour and 12 minutes, I guess, at the same time.
Want to talk about mine Eric's trade real quick?
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Let's get a little Mafia Market into the segment here.
Eric, you and I haven't made a trade in a while.
Keenan and Eric making a move.
Yeah.
We were at the local watering hole down the street the other day, and
I forgot about that.
Something got mentioned in the conversation as we're eating a nice buffalo chicken sandwich.
It was really nice.
It was, I'm telling you, best in Western New York. But
come on, wrap it up. Who is it?
I don't even know what got mentioned, and I'm
talking about the restaurant, man. You can't say best. Someone's coming to Western New York.
Hoax, I'm telling you, best buffalo chicken sandwich for $13. You can't beat it. And
massive.
And pro tip, ask for 2 buns because you're gonna need 2 buns. It's 2 sandwiches.
Cut that in half, baby.
Yeah. All right. So something got mentioned in our conversation. I went home, totally forgot that we even talked about it. The next morning I wake up, I see a trade request from Eric. He was sending Tyler Lockett and K-Makers for Mike Evans. I thought about it for 5 minutes, accepted it. I thought that was a pretty even trade for us. I'm taking a risk on Akers. He's getting a better player overall in Mike Evans. And Lockett is, he's not a bad player. I don't think he's at the level as Mike Evans is, but he's a little below him in my rankings. So I was like, hey, I'll take a shot, take a shot and see if this younger running back develops after his injury.
Yeah. And for me, it's, my team is it's win now team. I got Devonta Adams, Keenan Allen, Derrick Henry, Josh Allen, Mark Andrews, like I was just talking about. few other really good players.
You could have moved the pieces to get Mike Evans pretty much.
Yeah.
So it looks like he overpaid, but you're in a win now mode. So yeah, I'm in a win now mode too.
I overpaid
A little bit.
Yeah, my man, he bought me a drink and asked me to send him a trade. He knows what he's
why
doing.
Why does everyone think I do that?
He knows what he's doing over here. No, I'm all right with that. I mean, obviously, Mike Evans is one of my favorite wide receivers in the league too. So for me, I don't care. I do what I got to do to get him on any of my teams, pretty much. So
I had you, and I said Mike Evans was available.
Yeah,
that was it. That was it.
I love me some Mike Evans. And like I said, for this year, I think he's going to be much better than Tyler Lockett. I know people like Lockett, but outside of 4 or 5 games last year, Lockett literally did like almost nothing. Like I don't, I mean, I know Mike Evans had a dud here or there, but I think that chemistry had to build up with Tom Brady in that offense, and
it's a risk on both ends. I think because if Tom Brady retires after this year, who's the quarterback there in Tampa? Because Brady's going to at least end up in that NFC Championship game, so they're going to get a late round pick. Yeah, okay, come on. But you're in trouble if he's your starter. Let's just say that with Mike Evans. But I mean, and like you said, the risk for me is Tyler Lockett numbers went down once DK started, being DK, and I have a injured running back who might never be the same. So.
Yeah, that's another. I mean, running backs after the Achilles injury, and it really killed me. I have plenty of Cam Akers shares, and I was talking to him. He was my guy. Cam Akers was my guy for this. Like, I loved him. It killed me trading him, but the Achilles injuries for a running back,
let's just say if he wasn't injured, Eric's didn't accept sending that trade.
Oh no.
Oh, I guess we could wrap the show up. Antonio, any thoughts?
I was too busy. Sorry. No, no. There was some good thoughts. I talked to you guys beforehand too. I agree. I think on the surface, it looks like there might be needed a little pick added on the Mike Evans side, but when you dig down deep, it kind of makes sense because that risk with Akers possibly not being there, Brady possibly not being there next year, I could see it. So, all right, boys. Sleepers, breakouts, and bust. We got rid of it. We're getting ready for the 2021 season. 2 weeks away.
No. 2 weeks away. Next week. 1
week away.
Not even.
I said 2 weeks earlier.
It's less than 2 weeks.
I meant to say less than single digits, and it still got me going. You guys killing me.
It's literally.
We got our draft. I got like 4 drafts.
Oh, it's a week away. What are you talking about? Today's Thursday.
That's what I said. Yeah.
All right.
Well, we got how many drafts you got this weekend?
6. Well, Monday or from tomorrow till Tuesday. 6.
Yeah.
What time's our draft
5.
tomorrow?
7.
All right.
Let's see.
I'll have to talk. I'll have to talk to GM Boom.
Make sure you guys are following. Yeah, Mafia almost
too soon.
You messed up, man. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at DynastyMafia_FF. You can follow Eric at Biggie_FF. You can follow Keenan at Keenan_716. You can follow myself at Antonio Denisi FF. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Dynasty Mafia. And you can check us on our website, dynastymafiapodcast.network. That's all we got for you. Eric?
Mafia out.